Let us try to understand the difference between theory and criticism in plain terms. What is theory? It is a set of ideas, it is a speculation, it is a supposition that intends to explain a particular thing. Okay, if you are looking at an incident, you want some kind of preposition, you want some kind of direction to look at it. Okay, a child will look at a car and maybe a kid will find it funny, but student of class 10th may not find it funny because he has developed a particular perspective. He knows this is a tire, this part of the car functions in this manner, in that manner. So he has a theory. A person who is in the last year of his engineering may not look at the same car in the way the child looked at the car because he has developed a theory in his mind than the little child. So he has come across many theories in his life through which he can judge, through which he can understand the functioning of that car or the meaning of that car. All right. Therefore, theory is a body of ideas which helps us to understand something else. Theory can be understood as a descriptive tool. It's a tool which helps us to understand, interpret literature. All right, only when you have a sound knowledge of theory, you can better understand literature. Literary theory actually is the field of study which is concerned with the principles that promotes a better understanding of literary works. Coming to criticism, literary criticism, on the other hand, means the analysis or the judgment of merits and faults of a literary piece of work. Therefore, literary criticism becomes the practice, the action of interpreting and commenting on the qualities, the varied features of the literary work under study. Hence, literary criticism judges the literary value of a particular literary work based on certain parameters, and these certain parameters are actually the literary theory. All right, therefore, the action of literary criticism is taking the help of the tool literary theory to analyze and to understand a piece of literature. And what is the purpose of critics? They take a close and critical view of the text concerned, taking the help of literary theories. If you have understood the difference between the two, now you can understand that literary criticism is a broader term. Okay, while literary theory is itself a, you can say it's a principle, it's the most important device for the literary critics to analyze a piece of work or to critically analyze any work. Let me give you an example. A literary critique using the theory of feminism to analyze Margaret Atwood's novel The Edible Woman. So literary criticism is a material written by scholars about specific literary works. Theory is not concerned with the exploration of individual works. Okay, it hardly concerns with any individual piece of work, whereas criticism exposes only a certain aspect of the text. Okay, theory is a separate thing and criticism is closely associated with the text. Taking the help of theory, a scholar, a critique analyzes that particular text. However, one should keep in mind that some works which examine a particular text according to a given theoretical approach performs both critical and theoretical functions. Okay. Hence, in simple terms, one can say that a literary theory gives us a better lens through which a literary or a critical work can be written. Now, the development of theory, it mainly depends upon, or it is more relied upon, the progression of the time, while a literary criticism is more dependent on a person's individual's thought. Okay, let's say, for example, for centuries, the theory of structuralism was the godfather of all the theories. Okay, so every study, every system was supposed to be made of layers. Okay, we were told that every piece of literature has to be studied by breaking it into structures. So all the literary texts were judged accordingly. But with the progression of time and the incoming of the theory of deconstruction, what happened? We understood the importance of decentralizing a text rather than centralizing everything, rather than structuring everything at the center, rather than giving importance to the center of things. We are told through the theory of post structuralism that decentralization is more important and a text can be better understood when you move to the towards the margins. Therefore, theory is more a sort of a guiding light for the literary critics and therefore for the literary criticism as well. Literary theory is the guiding light that enhances, okay, that develops a literary criticism, that develops a piece of literary criticism. Now you can ask me why some of the texts are called both a literary theory and a literary criticism. For example, T.S. Eliot's Tradition and Individual Talent. It is actually a piece of literary criticism because T.S. Eliot has tried to, you know, give merit and snatch merit from many of the writers of his time and his ancestors and predecessors, whatever. But in doing so, in commenting on his fellow writers, he has also directly or indirectly developed the theory of objective correlative or the theory of impersonality. Therefore, this work, T.S. Eliot's Tradition and Individual Talent, or Arnold's Study of Poetry, comes under the category of both literary theory and literary criticism. So some of the ancient writers, they have basically involuntarily or unknowingly developed certain literary theories while intending to write a literary criticism.